Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. It's official, it's done, it's been confirmed by the club. Wesly Fofana is a Chelsea player. We knew this was going to happen. We knew the deal had been agreed. We knew they were doing the medical. For some reason in America, it got completed. And now we see him at Cobham, training apparently with the first team today. So there's hopes we can see him on Saturday against West Ham. We're going to get into the statement, what Fofana had to say and what Hyperbole had to say, and kind of just looking ahead with this signing that I know a lot of Chelsea fans are very excited about, not only for this season and what he could help improve for Chelsea, but also in the coming years, given the investment in Wesly Fofana. Before we do get into that, make sure guys hit that like button so new people can find the channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Got a lot of videos coming up obviously with the end to this crazy transfer window. This may not be the last Chelsea signing this window, so make sure you're keeping up to date on the news. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you want to hear my extended thoughts at nearly 20 minutes on the Southampton game last night, it was uploaded this morning on the channel, so please go and check that out as well. But here it is, the statement. Wesly Fofana signs for Chelsea. Wesly Fofana is a Chelsea player after today completing a move from Leicester and signing a 7-year contract with the Blues. It goes on to say, one of the Premier League's most highly rated young players, Fofana arrives to further bolster Thomas Tuchel's defence for the 2022-23 season, following the arrivals of Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella earlier in the summer. There is also reference to what Fofana did at Leicester, obviously playing really well against us in the FA Cup, which was quite painful, but there was the potential to be seen. And obviously he has given some quotes to this statement over completing his signing. This is what he had to say. The last 2 days have been really big days for me and I'm very happy. I trained this morning with the team and it's a dream for me. I'm very excited to start playing games for the fans and the club. I'm here to win trophies, the Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, everything. I came here to win and the club is built to win trophies, so I'm here to continue doing that. And this is what Todd Bowley, who of course once again being pictured at Cobham alongside the new signing, and he's given quotes to all of these new signing statements so far, no different for Fofana. Wesly is a hugely promising defender who has already proven his quality in the Premier League at a young age. Bowley said, we are delighted we were able to bring one of Europe's most exciting talents to Chelsea and further strengthen the area of our squad both for this season and for many more years to come. So you can see that picture there, Bowley and Wesly Fofana stood next to each other. It's a big deal, and you know, I sort of broke down on Friday when we got news from several reports that Chelsea had agreed a deal, it was going to happen, how much I think this means for Chelsea and the potential of Fofana in the coming years, how highly he is rated, not only by those who watched him at Leicester, but those who watched him obviously with Saint Etienne in France, and his development and the progress he has made in a short period of time. Even with that leg break, you know, he looks like one of those players who, I said this, you know, the long-term investment, that's kind of how I think you justify the money Chelsea have invested on Wesly Fofana, along with the need for a player of his nature in our defence. Despite the additions of Kalidou Koulibaly and they namesake, of course, Marc Cucurella, at centre-back, particularly on the right side of the defence, it feels quite ironic that they renounced this deal today, because last night, says Raspalaqueta, the struggles Chelsea had without Reece James as well, it feels, as I say, quite pertinent to obviously thinking about Fofana, who is not a right back, but if we're playing a back three, that's kind of for me why I'm excited about this deal, because I think it also helps Reece James, who we hope can be back in action on Saturday against West Ham, and maybe we will see the debut of Wesly Fofana. A 7-year deal, I mean, that's big, and the last time Chelsea did that for a player didn't go so well. Of course, Kepa Arrizabalaga from Athletic at Bilbao, and you know, that's still a deal that Chelsea are trying to come to terms with, and we're not quite sure about his future, so let's hope it goes emphatically well for Fofana. But it shows I think it shows the commitment to him as a player, and to get him at this stage, and obviously Chelsea and Bowley not just seeing him as a 2022-23 signing, a long-term signing, someone who can grow and get better, and along with the young defenders we already have, I think that it is big. I really do, and it's curious seeing that Fofana, in his opening remarks, he's He's been to the bridge. Just more photos coming up here. Lovely photos, by the way. And I think the media team's done a great job when they've been announcing signings, whether that's over in America, in LA and Vegas, to now obviously at the bridge, him there with the Chelsea Football Club sign above him. Lovely stuff. This is from Adam Newson, just taking from some more quotes. He said, Reece James messaged me on Instagram 1 month ago. You come and play with me at right back? ? I like this. It's good for my confidence. He's my guy now. So Reece kind of going into an intervention to try and save his own career effectively, and say, I'm sick and tired of playing at right centre back, so you can come and basically take that role so I can play in my favourite position. I did say I think the biggest winner from this transfer is Reece James, and you saw it at the weekend when he is bombing down that wing, how greatly Chelsea missed him at St Mary's last night, despite all of the problems that we could go into about Chelsea in that performance, the creativity he has. So it's kind of it's something that hopefully with the player himself, Fofana, grows into an even better player that justifies the investment. And once again, it's another player. I mean, Chelsea, in terms of their targets and who they've brought into the club this summer, they have cared about players in the Premier League, even trying to target some more that we haven't got. I mean, you think about Nathan Ake, Anthony Gordon, we've had Wilfried Zaha in recent days. It seems like Chelsea care a lot this summer about gaining Premier League experience within their team, with Raheem Sterling and Marc Cucurella and now Wesley Fofana. And some people can rubbish that. Some people can say it doesn't really matter. I can understand. You could probably pick out a load of examples that show that it doesn't really mean that much. You know, if you look at Edouard Mendy's impact when he came in, Thiago Silva's impact from a different league. You know, there are many players we bought over the years who, of course, have kind of disproved that theory. It's not that the only players who can work are ones in the Premier League. That's obviously a stupid way of looking at things. But with him and kind of just getting off the ground quickly, I think is kind of big, particularly when you're buying him so late in the window. That's kind of the hope, is that he doesn't need a full pre-season. There isn't going to be a year of adjusting to the Premier League. He isn't going to be shocked by that. That was one of the things I always bring up about Ben Chilwell, who we signed from Leicester as well, and N'Golo Kante too. I mean, I joked about it on Friday. We don't mention the other player we bought from Leicester, but you know, obviously and hopefully that can mean that he can get into the team quickly, settle, and Tuchel can start to rectify some of the mistakes of the early weeks and really get that team flowing and that part of the pitch settled. Because I mean, as much as we talk about the attack, the defence has looked shaky, it's looked vulnerable, there's been individual mistakes, there have been problems at set pieces. Fofana, hopefully for Tuchel, who really wanted him, can obviously offer something different and can hopefully improve that, because it's not just the attack that needs to be more productive, the defence needs to switch on as well and really start to strengthen, because we are leaking too many goals at the moment despite the new recruits. I want to hear your opinions on this. I know that probably the excitement around, I mean, maybe the excitement around Fofana is the same, you know, and it hasn't really dwindled despite the poor result. I mean, the poor result and performance last night is obviously concerning, but I still think this is a very good deal for Chelsea, and not just for today, not just for the weekend. It's hopefully going to be a long-term investment. And I look at who we've had coming through. You look at Levi Colwill, you look at Trevor Chalobah, some reports that I will be talking about in another video about the defender from RB Leipzig. There is future planning going on in central defence with a lot of players who could turn out to be brilliant for the club and really stabilise that area after last season, when it was so uncertain with the amount of players out of contract. Bowley's making extra sure he's got that contract settled for a number of years, given Fofana 7 years, and it's quite clear the player wanted to move to Chelsea. It's now done. As I say, is this the final move of this window? If this is to be the final signing of Chelsea's summer transfer window, would you be content with that? Or are you someone who thinks we still need more additions, maybe in midfield, attack, and in other areas too? Please let me know in the comments below. But let me know your opinions. Fofana is a blue. The deal has been done. And hopefully we're going to see Wesley Fofana make his Chelsea debut very soon. All the best.